Hey YouTube, Space Badger here, and this is my first ever manga chapter review of the excellent manga Kingdom. My god! Kingdom is great. Kingdom is so good. Like, we're at chapter 587, so it's not like this is a new series, and if you're into manga, you've probably up to date with this chapter, but like this series by now, because like just the level of detail, the actual artwork, the stylistic formations, the dedication to realism, the homages to the true 100 years war of warring China period, like all of it is excellent. So yeah, this is going to be my review of this manga chapter, and maybe just a little bit of background in terms of my love for this manga in general. One Piece spoilers are out, so one day away from releasing One Piece content. But for now, I'm going to talk about my second favorite week-to-week manga series at the moment, which is Kingdom. Okay, so people who are up to date with this will know that we're smack bang in the middle of a huge war that's raging between Quinn and Shu, and we're focusing at the moment on the right wing of that battle, which Shin and Ouhon are featuring quite predominantly in as the leaders. Now, in the previous chapter, Ouhon actually got struck down by the rivaling commander, and everyone is now frantically trying to keep the balance going on the right wing, having suffered the defeat and the loss of their commander. So the first few pages really just start out with a lot of the sort of units across both sides battling to try and keep Ouhon alive and to get him free, even amidst the madness that's occurring. And there's a lot of people sort of sacrificing themselves. There's a fantastic shot in page 6 of one of his shall we say, more rotund commanders, sacrificing himself and taking several lances in the back to ensure Ouhon escapes with another one of their commanders. So rest in peace, Kyoku. We then cut over to Shin, who is clearly knows what has happened, and sort of his intuitive battle senses kicked in, which I really like the sort of featuring of that in this entire battle in general. It's been a lot of fun. And his intuition kicks in and he says, yep, there's definitely something going on, and there's definitely, I don't know what's going on, but the Gakuei unit, which is Ouhon's unit, is clearly slowed down and something must have happened. We then cut back to that same battlefield where a lot of the Chu warriors are admitting defeat and reporting back to say that unfortunately Ouhon has retreated and managed to successfully get away, albeit gravely injured. He has survived. They then go to treat Gyeon Sama's, or Gyeon, I don't know how you pronounce that, his arm, because Ouhon, before he got struck down, got an incredible dragon's lancing pierce right to the ulna, or whatever that nerve is, the radial, one of the two, straight through what is probably the arm nerve. So that is a really gruesome shot of just where that piercing has happened, straight through his dominant arm, his bicento arm. I think it's a bicento anyway. And Gyeon retreats with his unit, or at least withdraws temporarily, to having successfully debilitated the Ouhon's commander unit, and have of course struck a crippling blow in defeating Ouhon himself. So with the Gakuei having annihilated and having suffered from Ouhon's defeat, there's sort of a reluctance and general sort of concern rafting through the divisions of the Haitian units and the left flank in general. And of course the news goes around about Ouhon's defeat and what that might mean for the battalion. Banyo, in typical Banyo fashion, is completely overreacting to this moment, kind of saying, Kanyo, how could we have let this happen? It's a massive defeat for the Ouhon unit, which, you know, for the kind of old wise man of the of Hon Summer's kind of unit, he definitely is the most emotionally erratic out of all the leaders. And Kanjo is kind of hanging his head in shame and apologizing to Banyo, because, I mean, Kanjo, to be honest, was a fucking boss in the previous chapters. He was absolutely obliterating foes to kind of ensure Ouhon's escape. But they're crying over the defeat of one of their key family members or unit members, Kyoku, who was killed off earlier in the chapter. With that, the 12th day comes to an end, and the 13th day officially commences, and we get some wonderful shots now of the positioning and what's happened across all of the battlefield of which this is taking place, with the High Shin unit and the left wing in general having had to retreat significantly. The Gakuei unit in a similar situation, with the Akko army still in the middle, vying with the Gakuei and Banjani for that sort of central positioning. As you can imagine, things reposition to try and take advantage of that left wing having taken a crippling blow on Quinn's side. And then we cut for the sort of last piece of the chapter with Shin wandering over to the ranks of the Hon Sama's Gakuei's unit, along with Karoten and Kyoki, and they wander up and realize that there's something wrong, because all of the sort of curtains are drawn around the headquarters, and there's kind of a hushed silence sort of reverberating around the camp. So Shin asks his lieutenant and his strategist to hold fire while he wanders up personally and finds out what's going on. At which point Shin runs into Banyo, who, in typical fashion, bursts out, breaks down in front of him, and is obviously in a fair bit of distress after everything that's happened over the course of the day. But in wonderful Shin determined fashion, gives him that piercing stare that only Shin can really do. And it's an incredibly drawn panel. I mean, I love these close-up shots, or rather close-up panels that they do. Forgive me, Kingdom's author or mangaka is, I'm drawing a blank with it, but when he says he's not gonna die, and there's this incredible intensity in Shin's eyes, just, it's beautifully drawn, and every little feature is kind of scratched into both Shin's sort of very self-assured face, and of course Banyo's reeling, emotional, distraught features. So Banyo breaks down. Shin says he's coming through. He says he's going to have a look and see what's going on. And then Shin turns to address the members of the Gakuei unit and says, and asks them quite specifically how they are going to beat Zhao's left wing tomorrow, with such sort of self-assuredness that everyone's kind of incredibly surprised at what's happened. And of course some of the other commanders reflecting on what Kanyo said last week, saying that the left wing has not failed because we still have the High Shin unit, or specifically, we still have Shin. So with 2 days remaining until the Battle of the Shukai Plains finale, Shin has declared that he is going to once again pull off the miracle that is saving Quinn's ass, by which I mean killing an enemy commander who he has no right in killing, but it's Shin, so he's going to do it. We all know he's going to do it. It's just in what kind of... who's going to do the assist? That's always the most interesting thing that happens in Kingdom. I was about to talk about spoilers for the future, because I did a lot of reading in the Wikipedia about how all of this starts playing out as we get closer and closer to the climax of this, but I will save that for people who are reading this week to week, because no one actually wants real life spoilers. That's no good. Don't do it, but you can do it. You can read the history on the 100 Years of War in China. It's a very good read, but probably not as fun as reading the manga, to be honest, so I would hold fire and wait. Yeah, I mean, again, this is a bit of a placeholder for me. I'm not sure if I'll do Kingdom reviews week to week. I'll probably see how the reaction to this video goes. But it's just, there's such thought put into this manga. And I guess that comes from the fact that there's kind of this loose structure whereby we know the kind of major beats because they're inspired by true historical events. So I think what the mangaka does incredibly well with Kingdom is puts a lot of thought into trying to build a realistic battlefield and presenting like real life strategical information and breaks down of the fights and what's happening and how the subtleties of positioning and terrain and cooperation within the actual individual ranks played such an important role in these kind of ancient, they're almost borderline medieval. I don't know quite what you call this period if you're being true to sort of Chinese historical fashion. Is it Edo period maybe? Um, but that kind of real, true battalion grounded foot soldier warfare. I mean, there's a fair amount of cavalry, but even then, that's few and far between. So look, this chapter is just like any kind of standard Kingdom setup chapter, I'd say. It's really a kind of ramp up for what is going to be the climax of the 2 final days as we focus in on the Shukai plains and probably get a wider view of what's happening in the Qin v Zhao battle across the East. I mean, I'm just excited to see, once again, Shin take down a commander. But to be honest, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens on the right wing, because my favorite characters on the right wing. Those who read Kingdom week to week will know who I'm talking about. And finally, kind of getting to see the climax to what has been now, I think, roughly 100 chapters of this war that's going on between Roboku and Ouhon's father, who once again I've drawn a blank from. God, I'm going to get so much hate in the comments from hardcore Kingdom fans. But I'll be better next time. I'll have done my research next time. I probably won't have, but I will try to have done so. And yeah, if you liked anything I had to say about Kingdom, if you like Kingdom, it's one of those things that I don't feel like gets a lot of attention in the West. I don't know why that is. I say the West, I mean US, UK, Australia. I think another one I'm going to probably start reviewing, or maybe I'll do more of a kind of roundup of, is Tower of God maybe next. And of course, when Chapter 871 of One Piece comes out, probably, I imagine it's going to drop tomorrow Australia time, so expect that upload to be on YouTube very swiftly after. Like, comment, subscribe. I am Space Badger. I love you all. I also love Meg Mac. If you don't know who this is an incredible Australian artist. Check her out. I know you can't really read the title, but that says Grandma Hines. What a plug. She is incredible. If there's anything you would like to see or say, if you like Kingdom, if you like this chapter, if you didn't like this chapter, if you're excited about where this is going, or if you want me to talk maybe a bit of retrospectively about Kingdom, leave that down in the comments and let me know. And otherwise, I will see you all next time. Peace.